Got screwed out of a Marvel vs. Capcom Collection game. Ray reviews a Robin Hood game and still wakes the deep. Ray also teaches you how to shoot better in first person shooters, and Xbox recently dodged a big bullet with a streaming console failure. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Just Because Gaming. My name is Michael,
And I'm Ray.
and thanks for joining us. Before we jump into it today, we just wanted to remind you all to smash that subscribe button and also subscribe to us on Patreon, where we're going to be doing giveaways for 50 subscribers on YouTube and a reduced amount of 20 members on Patreon. So you'll have two chances to win. Also on Patreon, we have an XL version of the show where it includes extra segments that we didn't have to crop for time for YouTube. So you'll be able to see those longer shows only on Patreon for members. And with that, let's just jump into it. One of the interesting things that we've seen recently is that there's a game coming out called the Marvel vs. Capcom Collection Arcade Classics. And if you have a PlayStation 4 or 5 or Nintendo Switch, you're in luck because you're able to play that game. Unfortunately, however, for Xbox, it's skipping that console, at least for the time being. And it doesn't really make sense because for the Marvel vs. Capcom collection, or the Marvel vs. Capcom series, it's typically included Xbox every time, sometimes being exclusive to Xbox when it comes to remasters. So it's a little bit odd that it's going to make this game for everybody except Xbox. There's been speculation that it's a licensing issue, so hopefully that gets cleared up. But currently, if you look up Marvel vs. Capcom Collection Arcade Classics, you'll see that on Wikipedia it's listed for the PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch, PC, and that's it. Which is a shame because this collection of arcade classics looks to be amazing. It looks like it's going to be remastered, and it's going to include some awesome games, including The Punisher, X-Men Children of the Atom, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom Clash of the Superheroes, and Marvel vs. Capcom 2 New Age of Heroes. So there's going to be so many good games under this Arcade Classics umbrella, and I'll probably end up picking it up for the Nintendo Switch just so that I could play it on the go, because fighting games to me are so fun in small doses. So
Right.
that to me says Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, it's a good travel type game where you can just sit down and, oh, I got 30 minutes to play. And you can play a few matches of a fighting game. They're very good for that.
Yeah, and honestly, I do hope that they do get Xbox support, especially with Game Pass, because then with Game Pass, I mean, you could play it on your phone, you know.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that I'd love to see that get added, but
Or,
it just breaks my heart a little bit,
maybe it comes
you
out
know.
free as a bonus when you buy the new handheld Xbox that eventually maybe might come out someday.
For the new console that maybe might possibly potentially come out at some point, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. That seems to be the messaging we're getting from Xbox at the moment on that.
Yeah.
Although I'm pretty sure that they are definitely working on that. And I'm hoping that it works out to be as good as I hope. Um, Now, for you first-person shooters out there, I found something free in the game store. It's not on Game Pass. You have to go to the game store to find it. Called AimLabs, and this is a training drill type thing. It runs you through several drills to improve your first-person shooter skills. Um, they have a couple of paid tiers. They have a free version. They have an elite version that's $19.99 and a pro version that's $59.99. Best I could tell from their description, it adds, like, when you go through the drills, you earn diamonds or whatever it is. It's basically earning points that you can use to buy weapons skins and different weapons and that kind of thing. But like when you buy the elite version, you get, or the pro version, you get like 8,000 diamonds and these weapon skins that, okay, well, I don't need this stuff. I'm not going to pay money for that. I don't understand why they even bother. The drills, however, are actually pretty good. You know, they teach us you things like, the drills are for what they call flicking, tracking, and switching, which are, if you've played with a lot of first person, you know you have to track your target sometimes and kind of stay on the target, hitting it with like a machine gun in Call of Duty. You've got to leave that target. And that target's, bouncing back and forth. So it basically drills you with practicing on staying on target. The other one's just your accuracy of shooting and how fast you can jump from target to target to target to target. So, I mean, it kind of gives you multiple drills you can do. You earn points. You have a leaderboard. I mean, it's not bad, especially for free. And if anything, I think it may have, I've just tried it for a couple of hours, and I could definitely see that I was picking up speed and getting a little bit better with my skills on that. I'm looking forward to trying it out in a game and seeing if it actually does increase my abilities. And Mike, this is something you should definitely look into because as somebody who's played Halo co-op with you, you need to work on your first-person shooter skills.
Listen, I was waiting for that. I was waiting. I was like, how is this going to turn into an insult? There you go.
It's not an insult. It's a constructive criticism.
It's constructive criticism.
That's
You
it.
suck.
It's the nice way of saying that.
Thanks. Appreciate that, coach. Yeah, so yeah, this seems interesting. Hope it's going to teach me how to do the whole 360 no scope and just, headshot someone from across the map, but that might also be aimbots. But yeah, no, when you were talking about that part where they have skins and stuff and it seems kind of like useless and pointless, I was wondering if maybe that's just like not a what's it called? Not a like gratuitous cash grab, but just a way to say, hey, support us and we'll give you something,
Right.
like skins or something. Because, considering that the game's otherwise free, if you do like I would say, because I'm going to try this game just to see, yes, if I can improve my skills. I'd like to think I'm good, all right, but whatever.
It's also an easy way to pop some achievements. I mean, like I think I popped 5 achievements in an hour. So I mean,
But
but it
when you
does have a
say,
few very grindy ones. Like it wants you to do 50 of tasks, or then another one for 100 tasks, and then it's got one that's 500 tasks. So you're gonna have to grind a bit of drills to get to that point. I could see it getting a little boring trying to get to 500.
now, when you say this is free, are you talking about free on Game Pass, or like if you go to the Xbox store, there it's $0?
If you go to the Xbox store, it's $0. It is not on Game Pass, so you have to go look for it in the store.
Oh, okay. Okay, and what did you say it's called again?
AimLabs, spelled just like it sounds. AIMLABS.
Okay, well, hey, maybe me and you can practice this a lot, and then we'll be able to do some competitive game, some competitive shooting games, and
Sure.
do stuff like that.
Definitely worth
I
a
will
shot.
admit I'm not on that level,
My skills are not what they used to be either, so I'm like, well, maybe this will help improve them.
but yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, if I play this game and it does help me get like really good, then yeah, I'll pay for the whatever version, and I'll just to throw some money at them to say thank you. Basically like a tip. I mean, seems interesting. I'll definitely try it out because there's no reason to not get better at shooting games if you play a lot of shooting games.
Right? Yeah, even playing single player, there's a lot of shooting games that, if you improve your skills a little bit, it might make the game more fun. And it's free, so it doesn't cost anything to try it.
Some of my favorite first-person shooter games are single player, such as Fallout, Saints Row, and Far Cry. And so yeah, I mean, if AimLabs could help me get better at that, just to enjoy that and maybe pass levels the first time, hey, I wouldn't be mad about it.
Right?
Another interesting thing is that while I was surfing the dark edges of Reddit, I saw that there was talk about a new Xbox console. And Ray, I know you're going to roll your eyes and be like, dude, there's not a new Xbox console coming out. But there was patents and recorded documents for a prototype that they actually started working on in 2022 and 2023. It was codenamed Project Keystone. And they were thinking it was in the very, very early stages of being the next Xbox console. And basically, short version is it was a streaming only console. So it wasn't going to be a disc console, and it wasn't going to be a console that had storage on it. So you wouldn't be able to like download games. It would only be a streaming box.
So just a
And
cloud console, huh?
yeah, it was going to have xCloud technology. And on Reddit, it was lovingly dubbed the stove box because that's what it looked like. It looked like the images, the sketches of it, basically made it look like a little portable burner that you'd bring like to a campfire or something. It looked a lot like when I saw it, I was like, oh, that looks like the Xbox One or Xbox Series S is what it exactly looked like. So I'm guessing they essentially made that and then just put some memory in it so that, you could download the consoles or download the games to the console. But yeah, it was massively unpopular because before they even started creating it, they were just like beta testing it and doing testing for like community-based testing, be like, hey, would you be interested in this console? And it got shot down left and right. Everybody hated it.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was going to be the next generation of consoles. It was just going to be streaming consoles. You wouldn't be able to download
Yeah.
games. You wouldn't be able to put a disc in it. It was just pure streaming. And thank God that it got destroyed in just the idea stage, because several people on Reddit, some of those Reddit professionals, um, gave an analysis about it and said, even with the current fiber gigabit or 2 gigabit network speeds, streaming video games is extremely problematic because even if you have gigabit internet or 2 gigabit internet, it's not guaranteed the entire time. You'll have your fluctuations in bandwidth, just like
Right.
I have fluctuations with pronouncing words. So sometimes it'll run really well and really smooth, and other times it's just trash.
Well,
Especially if you're sharing that bandwidth with people in your house and they're, playing games on theirs or doing stuff on their phone or watching videos or whatever, the bandwidth does drop. So yeah, there was a lot of comments like that, like you can't specifically set aside bandwidth so that you can have a stable gameplay the entire time. And so they just pointed out like how bad of an idea that was. And that made me think of that Phil Spencer interview um when IGN, it was IGN, right?
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Where they interviewed Phil Spencer about the possibility of a portable console, and they asked him if it was going to be one that you could download to or stream to, and he was like, oh yeah, definitely downloading, definitely downloading. I think it's because they got burned so bad on the concept of only streaming, like
Yeah.
creating a device that you could only stream with, that they are not going to make that mistake again. And I'm hoping and praying that they did learn from that experience and that there will not be a streaming console, a streaming only console in the foreseeable future. I want it to only be, at least downloadable.
Eventually, it's probably going away. The whole use of like Blu-ray discs and all that. But I still have stacks of Blu-rays, and like when the internet does go out, it's handy to have them around, so you can
So
watch
you're
something.
that guy
I'm
with the
that guy.
stacks of Blu-rays.
Well, I mean, I bought them years ago. I haven't bought any new ones. I've just got the same Blu-rays. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with these? They're not worth anything to sell to anybody or anything like that. So,
Yeah.
but they're a good
Yeah.
backup for, like I said, when the internet goes down or something like that.
Doomsday prepping. I have
That's it.
Blu-rays.
They won't have any electricity, but I got Blu-rays.
You just have a little hamster running on the wheel just to power it.
It could be worse. I could have a stack of HD DVDs.
You could have a stack of VHS tapes.
Yeah.
And it's funny
Betamax
because
format.
I'm saying that, and I'm hoping that my wife doesn't watch this episode because she has a stack of VHS tapes, and we have a VHS player.
I at least don't have any of that anymore.
I regret having that because we have a tote full of VHS tapes that just has a thick coat of dust on it, and it drives me nuts.
They probably won't even play anymore.
Who knows?
So, also, and as well as AimLabs, I tried out some other new things. Recently added to Game Pass, you have Robin Hood Sherwood Builders. Robin Hood Sherwood Builders is evidently was ported over from PC, and it's a RPG with building elements because you basically build your base up in Sherwood Forest while you're going out and being a thorn in the side of the Sheriff of Nottingham, trying to help the people as well as rob the rich and the typical Robin Hood story. But it's an open world. You can run around and kind of do the missions as you please. You have tasks to complete as well. I found the movement in it. I don't know if it's better on PC, but it's a little choppy. I think it's just not that smooth. But other than that, the game seemed pretty good. The combat's not bad. It's a nice looking game. Um, it's a good environment. Good idea for a story. We'll see as I get further into the game if it really plays as well as the idea is, and I'll get back to y'all on that. But because I've only put maybe 30 minutes into this because it showed up like the other day on my Game Pass list. I'm like, oh, let me check this out. So yeah, it looks like it could be interesting. I like the idea of the story, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's something to consider trying out. It is free on Game Pass if you're a Game Pass subscriber. So
Yeah, it sounds interesting. I may or may not try it. I'll look at the demo or the trailer or
yeah,
whatever there is.
that's
I'm
one
kind
of
of
the
on
things that got me was the trailer because it's got like the like when you're firing your bow and arrow, it'll do a slow motion of the arrow flying sometimes. Yeah, kind of like the bullet time thing, but only with the arrows. It's supposed the combat's kind of I want to say Assassin's Creed like where you can parry or block and then strike after your parry. So you've kind of got that kind of combat that you're used to. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. See
So
how
you're
well
saying
it
I
does.
can't jump from the top of a building and stealth assassinate King Richard?
Richard's already dead.
No.
You want to assassinate the sheriff.
Oh, well, whatever.
See, I want to start right here at the beginning of the game, see if I can go kill the sheriff of Nottingham and end the game right there.
When you say it has like the arrow slow-mo thing, is it the same as similar to
Like in
Sniper Elite?
Sniper Elite, yeah. That's what it looked like from the trailer. I haven't even fired an arrow in this game yet, so just I'll let you know for sure when I try it. But yeah, I've only played about 30 minutes of it, and that's just learning how this thing works.
Honestly, that alone might be a selling point for me because I loved Sniper Elite
Oh
and
yeah,
seeing the slow-mo. And I know it's kind of graphic and gory, but like when in Sniper Elite, when a bullet hit somebody and it like did that like Mortal Kombat X-ray thing where it shows like everything it's doing, that'd be cool to see.
you just like
If
shooting
they,
people in the balls,
I wasn't gonna say that, but yeah, there
but it does
there
do
are
that.
there are so many achievements and missions where yes, they do want you to do nut shots to people in Sniper Elite, and that would be kind of funny to see that in Robin Hood, where it's
Sure.
like, oh, right in the coin purse.
And then the other thing I've been playing, which I mentioned our last episode, was Still Wakes the Deep. So I've played a couple hours into that now, and it is a horror genre survival type game. And it starts out you're in the North Sea on a oil rig, and you're working there. And everybody on here is Scottish. It's evidently must be somewhere off of Scotland because everybody speaks with this strong Scottish brogue, which how it puts like the captions down so you can kind of read what they're saying at the same time. It doesn't always match what they're saying because they have that Scottish speak, that Scottish brogue, and you're going, that doesn't look anything like what they printed down here. So that's about the only irritating thing I've had in the game. Like, okay, but I mean, it still means the same thing. It just the wording's off. But you start out and you're just waking up. You're going out. You're talking to the people on the rig. Your boss is calling you to the thing because evidently you got into some altercation when you were on the mainland, where you got in a fight or a brawl or something, and now the police are evidently come looking for you. So your boss is firing you, and during the conversations you hear them talking about they're hitting something with the drill and they're having trouble drilling into it, and the boss is screaming at them to continue on. We're going to drill through this. Keep going because it's a drill. It's what it does. And then all of a sudden there's something that shakes the whole rig when you're headed to the helicopter to be sent back homeland, back to the mainland. And the story basically starts from there. They've basically drilled into something, and it's killing people. It's messing with your mind if you get too close to it, and you're just trying to rescue as many people as you can and survive. I don't want to ruin the story by going too deep into that, but I mean it's pretty good. I've been enjoying it so far. I don't think it's going to be one of those really long games, and I think most of the achievements I haven't really noticed any collectibles in it. Most of the achievements seem to be just story based. So yeah, the missable things are like, oh, talk to all the people at the beginning of the game, which I did, not realizing that was even an achievement. But if you didn't talk to everybody, well, you wouldn't get that achievement. So there are some missable ones. It's just pretty easy to acquire achievements if that's what you're hunting for.
That is seeming more and more interesting because the way you're describing it, it reminds me a lot of Prey.
Yeah, a little bit. Prey was probably a better done version of this because you actually had the combat involved in it. So far, there hasn't been any kind of combat. It's just a matter of surviving. There's a lot of traversal, jumping from place to place, the platforming kind of thing. Because I've
Hmm.
fallen into the ocean like 3 times now. Because I just didn't quite make the jump or make the grab or whatever it was you had to do to get across some gap. I'm like,
Well, maybe AimLabs will make some sort of DLC that helps you with that.
yeah, I need a platforming AimLabs. Because I am terrible at platforming games. If it has to be a precise jump or something, I'll do it 3 or 4, 5, 10 times before I finally get it right. If it depending on how strictly accurate you have to be with it.
So there you go, AimLabs. If you can do a 2D or 3D platforming trainer, yeah, Ray would definitely benefit from that. And not to also throw certain people that may or may not be my wife under the bus, but there's other people that would benefit from that too, because I may or may not have played It Takes Two with a wife or person, and they get frustrated and just hand me the controller and say, "You do that double jump slash dash, that double jump air dash onto that moving platform." And for me, it's super easy. I'm just like jump, jump, dash over there.
Yeah.
But it's funny
Now,
and kind of cringy watching someone fail so many times.
right. Now, what is it? Doom Eternal has a lot of that in it because you do use like the dash feature to jump all the way to a wall that you can grab onto. But that, I don't know if they just did it that well, or it doesn't have to be so precise to hit the mark because I can traverse that just fine. All right, everybody, that's the end of our show today, and I appreciate y'all watching and hope you come back, subscribe, like it, check us out on our website at justbecausegaming.com. You can become a Patreon, watch the extra content that we're going to put out in the Patreon only, and come back and check us out and tell your friends about us.
All right. Peace.
Later.